There will be a lot of mornings that you don't want to do the workout and you don't want to go for these runs. But the secret sauce is that you show up and you do it anyways. This is where our true character is built. You have a plan, you stick to the plan, and even if you don't want to do it for yourself and be 1% better than yesterday.
Alright, good morning. On this Tuesday, the 1st of February, we are officially 103 days out from the Utrecht Marathon. And before we dive into the context of this episode 4 of the marathon build, I just had some morning running thoughts that I have every now and then, especially when I run without any earplugs. But today, I was just thinking about consistency. You know, on these days, or when it's raining, when it's snowing, when it's freezing, even in Spain, that's when we are tested, especially during this marathon build. You know, do we do the training, the workouts that we told ourselves that we are going to do? And the answer should be yes if we want to make progress, obviously. But this stems from, you know, the things that you do on a daily basis. Besides the runs, the workouts, etc., you can really easily track how you would respond to these type of circumstances. Will you show up, do the work, or will you let it slip by? And will you maybe run on a treadmill in the gym when it's a little bit warmer? Will you feel more comfortable? Look, I haven't signed myself up for this marathon to build and to have the very best experience, the most comfortable situation, without being tested during the build and of course during the race day. Especially on those days, on these days, I want to show up, I want to do the work even more, because I know that this will have a very positive, constructive effect on me for the rest of my life, but also for this build, because it's only going to be easier. So, talking about consistency, look at your actions on a daily basis and you will find out how you would respond normally in these type of circumstances. Let's get it. Let's dive into episode 4. Right now on this easy run, we will tap into what this video is going to be about. How we can master the easy run. And when you're new into the marathon space or into running as a whole, you probably will ask yourself, what paces should I run on these easy runs, right? And what do I even mean by an easy run? That is very specific for each individual. When you're just running, you might have no experience. There's one factor, the goal you set for yourself, right? And your ability to run. Those are all crucial factors in order to determine what is your easy, right? That is specific for each individual. So, as we talked about in the last episode, 80% of our runs will be easy, which will be building that aerobic base. That is the majority of our entire training. 80% of those workouts. So it is very important to understand how we should even tap into these easy runs and what this means for you. That's what we'll elaborate on in this video. So one way we can track these easy runs is by using heart rate monitors, by using external devices that can help us facilitate in order to determine what our easy is. So personally, I'm more a feeling type of person. And what I mean by that is, I just like to run based on feel. I of course look at my heart rate afterwards. And even with these hill climbs, my heart rate will skyrocket. So I'm more a feeling person, and I look at, am I able to communicate well while I'm actually running? Am I able to just talk in several paragraphs without struggling with my words? You know, these hill climb of course doesn't help, but this is how I determine it myself. And you can do it through several things, several ways, which we will talk about. But mainly, when you run hundreds and hundreds of kilometers and you have that experience, you normally should understand what your easy will be. That is maybe measured for you by an external device, but like I said, you can also do it by running easy, or if you're in a run club, you can talk with people, and that should determine if you're able to speak what your aerobic heart rate will be, and if that is easy. So one thing you don't want to do is overcomplicating things from the beginning, because there are hundreds of different methods out there that truly might all work, right? But you have to find something that works for you, and when it works, stick to it. Why would you change something if it's working, right? Stay consistent and you will get better at that what is working for you. So if you're just new into running and you're just getting into it, try to get to a point where you might run maybe 4 or 5, 6 times a week for maybe 5, 6, 7 kilometers from the beginning, and try to build it up from there on. Don't take too much, let's say too big of a step from the beginning. That's also something we will elaborate on in this video. How we can increase mileage and kilometers in the most easy way and efficient way possible, and also to prevent injuries. That's what this video is going to be about. So try to keep it simple. Like for me, easy is different than hard. It's a feeling. Like hot is different than cold. And that's working for me. I stick to it. So let's find out what your best method will be. Alright, good morning. It's Thursday, the 6th of February. And during this morning run, where I feel very, very sick, 2 degrees of flu, body skin temperature rose by 2 degrees. I'm feeling really sick. But I told myself in the beginning, I will not miss a single workout. That's what I told myself. And I meant that, really. Whatever might come up. And of course, there are always things you cannot control, but we have to control the controllables. And that's exactly where this comes and stems from. Doing the work, even though I really don't want to do it. I feel sick, don't feel well, my heart, my beats per minute are way higher than normal.
The progress that we make is not going to be linear, truly.
But this is what separates the successful from the unsuccessful. Still doing it while you don't feel like it. Good times and all I get is more pain. There's a monkey on my back. I got some habits that I can't break. Alright, so talking about being 1% better every single day, besides feeling really sick, I also grew a Christmas tree on my head today. It's freezing in Spain.
Alright, so today I'm supposed to actually have my lactate threshold run. And as I feel pretty sick today, I decided to do another easy run for this week. Next week I will catch up again on the speed work. But to directly identify and to tap into the max aerobic heart rate, which is done through easy runs, right? How do we even calculate that? How can we identify it? So I briefly already talked about that I'm just more like a feeling person, right? I just love to run, and after a certain amount of runs, or let's say a certain amount of kilometers that you normally have, you already ran easy, you will most likely feel what is easy, what that means to you, right? But in order to not only depend on your feelings, you can of course calculate it as well if you would like to really be on top of it. That can either through a heart rate monitor or through other external devices. But how we can identify and actually calculate that properly is through the MEF 180 formula. This is a formula that a lot of runners use in order to determine their max aerobic heart rate, which is that what we do through easy runs. So what this MEF 180 formula means is you take 180 and you deduct your age from 180. In my case, it would minus 23, right?
it would be 157. So, and then I always take 10 to 15 of that 157 in order to have a good range of that what I should focus on in terms of my easy runs. So in my case, if I would determine my max aerobic heart rate as efficient as possible for my easy runs, it should be anywhere between 157 to maybe 140 beats per minute. That's what I should aim for in order to just, get towards zone 2, to just have my easy runs actually being easy. And that's also the mistake that most people make from the beginning, that I also did completely wrong, which is running my easy runs way too fast and running my fast runs way too easy. That is something that is very important to have just clear for yourself, that you know what easy is, and you can do that by using the MAF 180 formula if you would like to really calculate it with your heart rate. So that's another option that you can use. Then, how should we increase kilometers or mileage safely? Look, this is something that I had a conversation about with my brother as well, especially last year when we had the marathon prep in Madrid. So I wasn't aware at all what, a good way was to actually increase my kilometers. I just ran maybe 10K for a week. That was just normal. Like running maybe 2 times per week, 10 kilometers, that was it. Before I actually got into marathon running, right? So I did a lot of research. I'm just a guy, I love to do research in order to understand how I can do it the best way possible. My brother is more about just doing it and he will find it out. So what he did, he was going from 10 kilometers per week, or let's say per run, directly going to 20 kilometers, and that is not how we want to do it. When you're getting towards, let's say, 10 kilometers a week, you want to increase mileage safely. So how do we do that? I told him as well, we should focus on a 10% increase maximum per week. So what that means is if you're running twice per week and you're doing 10K, right, and you would love to just bump that up, I would highly suggest to use those 10Ks and to just increase it week by week with a maximum of 10%, maybe 5 to 10% per week. If we do it too fast, then our body is not able to adapt to the volume and intensity that we are asking from our body in order to actually transition into the physique and the capabilities, right, that we should have in order to run a marathon or whatever race you're aiming for, right? So what I always aim for is to not increase my volume with more than 10%. That's also what I'm doing right now. I of course need to also build it up again for this prep, for this build, because I just ran like 2 to 3 times a week. Right now doing 4 times a week. At the end of February I would love to run 5 times a week. And then doing that of course easily, also by slowly but surely increasing the kilometers of mileage by not doing like more than 10% per week. That's what I like to aim for, and that's what I would highly suggest to also use yourself if you're willing to do more work. That way you will prevent injuries and your body will be able to adapt way more efficient over time. This is something we will also get into progressive overload. That's very important. So the easy runs, and zone 2 specifically, that is where our body becomes very efficient in lactate clearance. Okay, so the easy runs, running in our zone 2, and what that for you is maybe something completely different than for me, right? But our zone 2 work, or our easy runs, will allow us to clear the lactate in our blood way more efficiently over time. Okay, so this will allow us to, just build up more overall fitness. When we do this for an extended period of time, we will see more fitness. That is obvious, right? Because we do more work, we do more volume. And because of that, the lactate will be cleared more efficiently in our blood, and we can take more work on ourselves, on our body. And that will allow us to become fitter over time. And because we become fitter, we can run faster and longer. That is how we actually going to increase, let's say, our capabilities by increasing mileage slowly, by increasing kilometers slowly. That will allow us to run faster. We don't want to do and make a bump of 200% increase overnight. That's not going to work very positive. Maybe it might work for once, but you will see that your body is not able to adapt towards those circumstances that you're creating. So I would highly suggest to look at, okay, where are you right now? And just slowly but surely increase it. It's is not a sprint, right? It's a marathon. That's literally applicable to this right now, what I'm talking about. So if we want to run faster and longer, we need to increase mileage very slowly, 10% per week maximum. And this will allow us to, of course, clear that lactate more efficiently. So progressive overload. What is progressive overload? Progressive overload is that the work that you will do right over an extended period of time. If you're not going to increase the mileage too fast and you're doing it easily, then you will be able to make progressive overload. You will have your body just adapt over time. When you zoom out, if you literally just not focus only on the short term, over let's say a week, 2-3 weeks of time, but you really zoom out, you will see that your line of like improvement will be going up if you really zoom out, right? Because in the beginning it might be slow, but by time you will see that that progressive overload is going to take the overhand. So in the beginning with progressive overload, you know, when you feel fatigue, most likely your legs will feel fatigued first, especially during a prep, especially during a marathon build, right? It might be that you're maybe right now in your last weeks of a marathon build and your legs feel very heavy. You just feel, let's say, a little bit less fresh, right, during your runs. That's also why we're gonna do a taper. That's something that will come up later in the last 2 to 3 weeks of the build. But when we have fatigue, most likely our legs will become fatigued first, right? So we should increase training volume over an extended period of time in order to become better, right? Obviously. So when we're going to increase that over time, that is where we will build endurance, and that is where we will build our aerobic base. And that is through progressive overload. We don't want to do it too fast, but just with a very strategic and structured way in order to, you know, clear that lactate and to just become more fit over time, to run faster for longer, focusing on the right heart rate if you want to track it like that. All these pillars combined will allow you to adapt in the most efficient way possible. Here we have one of my favorite desserts, a beautiful papaya, and I will show you guys what we're gonna do with it. So we are of course not going to throw away the seeds in there. This is something that we are going to consume tomorrow midday. And you might think, you know, you cannot eat that, but this is an actual superfood to remove parasites in your body. That's at least what I've read, and that's also what I've seen other people do, and I truly love it, to be honest. So we're gonna save that. And right now we have this beautiful empty space, right? So what are we gonna do with this? We're gonna create a boat. And my boat is including organic Greek yogurt. So we're gonna open this up like that. And we are literally going to throw the yogurt inside here, just like a ship, right? A papaya boat, like that, completely filled up. So this is the end result, a beautiful papaya boat with Greek yogurt, honey, hemp seeds, bee pollen, chocolate. This is amazing, like truly. Give this a try, you won't be disappointed.
Alright, so just got back from 2 days being in Madrid together with a friend who came and flew over from the Netherlands. We had an amazing weekend. Right now just back in the evening, Sunday the 9th of February, on this 4th run of the week. And this wraps up week 5 of the marathon build. Total volume anywhere around 60 to 70 kilometers right now. But this week was a week that didn't go as planned. That was not what I expected it to be. And that also refers back to, if you've seen episode 2, setting realistic expectations, specifically progress. and how that looked like, right? That bar going up, going down, the highs and lows during a build. The lows, that is exactly what this entire week was about. A lot of lows. But if you still show up, you do the work, maybe pivot your plan, but you do the work regardless, then the other parts where you have the uptrend, the tops, it feels so good. It is just easy. It will come naturally because you know how to deal with the hard stuff. So the easy stuff, you know, you will enjoy way more. And that is part of the journey. That's part of the build. So this wraps up week 5. I'm super excited to see what next week will all be about. More volume, more intensity. Let's get it.
So back home, and I mentioned during the run that I'm right now running 60 to 70 kilometers a week. This week, of course, was less in terms of volume and also in terms of intensity because of the setbacks that I faced. And I'm actually super happy, to be honest, that it happens right now, just very early in the prep, rather than just, let's say, being later in the prep where I might get really injured. That will really slow down the entire process right before, let's say, race day. But as of today, I looked at my ankles before I started running and they're very, very, very thick. I don't know what's happening with my body, to be honest. I'm never sick. I don't have any injuries in my life ever. And this week, it looks like everything just comes together. Like feeling sick, getting ill, like my body is not the way how it's supposed to be. And that is normal, right? That's what happens when you're maybe increasing volume, your body needs to adapt to the volume, to your intensity, to all the circumstances that you're creating. That is so normal, that is just part of the entire process. So I'm not worried at all. I'm just very aware right now of, okay, hey, my body needs to adapt from where I started to where I want to be, right? In order to get there, there's going to be a journey. And that journey, there are always going to be obstacles. There are always going to be bumps in the road that I need to get, over. I need to basically overcome that obstacle. And right now, I will even show it. Like, my ankles are very, very thick. I even felt it when I was running. Like, this is just, I think it's just a lot of, I don't know, water or something around my ankle. I can even not, even lace up my shoes very tight, just like normal, but maybe you can see it. It's very, very thick. And even my foot, like my leg as well, I don't know, this is like my leg here, the under part of my leg, since last week, I thought it was like maybe some sort of like, I don't know, that my bones or something needed to just adapt or something to whatever it was, but it become very thick. You can see, like, look at the difference. Like there's, because of my sock, right? This is a compression, like sort of a compression sock for like sports, right? You see, there's literally, because of the compression here, there's a bump here. So I don't know what's going on. My leg and my feet. Look, you don't even see my ankle. You don't even see my ankle. Look at this. It looks like my leg is just the same size as my ankle. Literally, only you see here a bump, right? Because of the sock, because of the water around my calves. I don't know what's happening, but like, I'm not very worried. Like, you can see my ankle here, but on the other side, you don't see it. So yeah, this is part of the process. So I hope, of course, that it will be gone soon. But yeah, this is not what it's supposed to be. And these obstacles, we will face them during the prep. And whatever it might be for you, don't be worried. It's just part of it. Look at the difference, right? Yeah. Nevertheless, another week done, another week completed. 54 point something kilometers this week as I counted it now. And yeah, next week is going to be exciting. I hope I'm just able to perform a little bit more. That's what we are trying. I'm going to increase, of course, the volume 10%.
And yeah, from that part, slightly but surely, we're getting towards our preferred amount of kilometers per week, which will be maybe at peak 100, 110 kilometers per week, something like that, maybe more. So let's build that up. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys in the next episode. Take care.